Our Region's Business is sponsored by PNC for the achiever in you. Welcome to Our Region's Business with your host, Bill Flanagan.
Today on Our Region's Business, Pittsburgh's known as a sports town, but did you know that folks in our region actually buy far more tickets to the arts than to professional sporting events? We'll find out what's behind the numbers. Plus, an innovative program at People's Gas that's kept the heat on for the most vulnerable residents of one Mon Valley town for 2 winters in a row. But first, small and mid-sized businesses take notice. If you haven't invested in a new chip card reader, you may find yourself liable for credit card fraud. Chip cards are those newfangled credit cards users insert into a card reader instead of swiping the card, and the technology is supposed to make it harder for thieves to use the cards and steal the information. And now Visa and PNC Bank are hitting the road to spread the word about the new technology and the new rules for businesses. Patty McQuaid is Chief Operations Officer for PNC Merchant Services, and Jordan Murray is owner of Camp Bow Wow in Pittsburgh. And welcome. Good to have you both here.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Jordan, I'm going to start with you. For folks who don't know Camp Bow Wow, what is your piece of the pet industry?
Well, Camp Bow Wow is a daycare, boarding, training, and grooming facility. We're a national franchise. And what we really focus on is the all-day play element. So all the dogs come to stay with us for a weekend or a week-long stay, instead of being locked up in their own cage for a period of time, all the dogs that come to camp are automatically enrolled in the daycare program. So what that means is the dogs have an opportunity to go into one of our 4 or 5 different play groups. We mix the dogs by size and temperament. They all have indoor-outdoor access. We maintain a 15-to-1 camper-to-camp counselor ratio. There's lots of supervision, play equipment, live webcams. So when the owners are traveling, they can check up on their dogs, see how much fun they're having.
Geez, sounds like a better vacation than most of the owners are probably having in a lot of ways.
We like to think the dogs have a better time on vacation.
That's really great. So you got multiple locations here in our region.
5 locations.
And confronted, like every other small merchant these days, with the instruction to consider upgrading your credit card systems, right?
Yeah, we found out about it both through communications from PNC, who is our merchant sales provider, and also from the stories you hear on the news about Target and Home Depot's data breaches. And so as a business owner, if we are not using EMV technology, we become liable for fraudulent charges. Camp Bow Wow is definitely known as the place that is most safe and fun for people's dogs. And so we want to make sure that we are the safe place for people's credit card data as well.
Well, that's great. That's a great value proposition. Would that all your clients have that attitude?
Without a doubt, sure.
So what's happening nationwide, industry-wide, that's really driving this change?
So the primary reason for the increase in activation and adoption of chip technology is primarily related to the rule change that was mentioned. In October of 2015, the 4 major card brands, Visa, MasterCard, Discover, and American Express, announced a rule change that went into effect in October, where in the instance of card-present fraud, and that can be counterfeit fraud or lost stolen fraud, the party involved in the transaction, either the issuing bank or the merchant, whichever party possesses the most secure level of chip technology will be protected from the financial liability associated with that fraud. Conversely, the party with the least chip technology in place will have that fraud loss moved or shifted to them to absorb that loss to their business.
So under the old rules, all the liability went your way, to the bank, basically, and the retailers, I'll take the card, what the heck.
Right.
It's that, a little bit of risk, but I don't have to worry about it. Under the new rules, the risk can shift back your way as the retailer. Okay. So what do these new cards do that make it more secure?
So EMV,
and I know you brought a reader here.
Station here, but so EMV or chip technology, and those two terms are really interchangeable. It involves a card that's issued with a microchip that is embedded in the plate. You can see right there.
Okay, right.
And that when that card is used at a merchant's point of sale terminal that's enabled for chip technology, the chip will encrypt the account information from that card, and they'll convert it into a unique code that the issuing bank will use prior to the transaction taking place to authenticate or validate that card. So that process greatly increases the data security surrounding that transaction. And that benefits not only merchants, but cardholders as well here in the United States, and if they're traveling abroad.
So each transaction gets its own code,
Every code is unique.
So this is the business we're all learning now to stick our cards into the reader rather than swipe them the way we used to.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a little bit part of the learning curve for everybody involved in the process. So what's it been like? Now, do you have them at all your locations yet?
No, in fact, we were a little bit concerned that maybe there was going to be some issues with our customers in terms of convenience, or us as we're doing our operations. So we rolled it out at our newest location, which is in Monroeville, which we opened a few months ago. And the transition has been seamless, and we've had no issues whatsoever. So we're now comfortable that we're going to roll them out at our other locations.
Is this uncommon, though? I mean, how many merchants have, the deadline was last October, right? Q4 of 2015. So how many merchants have adopted the technology?
You know, so the estimates from Visa and MasterCard are probably around 800,000 merchant
Sounds like
locations.
a lot.
Sounds like a lot. It's actually probably less than 1 in 5 merchant locations here in the United States that have adopted the chip technology to date. We're starting to see an increase in the activation and the adoption, and we expect that that will continue throughout 2016 and into 2017.
Now, you've got it in one location. Are customers beginning to figure this out? What's the dynamic been like?
Yeah, the customers haven't really had any issue with it whatsoever. I mean, really, it's just a difference of a swipe versus a stick motion. It's pretty easy to explain. The customers have no problems with it whatsoever.
I know it's easy. I still do it wrong almost every time the first time, and the machine tells me I got to do it again, right?
I think part of the issue is that when you go into a business right now, you have no idea which it's supposed to be, so you inevitably choose the wrong one. If you're supposed to put it in, you swipe, and vice versa.
Got a 50-50 chance, and that's the way my luck goes. So you're on the road spreading the word. There's an event coming up here in our region for businesses can find out more about all of this?
Absolutely. On March 16th, we're having an event at the PNC Tower to help with providing the awareness to merchants about the importance of considering enabling chip technology at their point of sale.
Okay, and if businesses want to find out about it or participate?
They can go to www.pnc.com/chipcardtour.
/chipcardtour. All right, Patty McQuaid from Merchant Services, Jordan Murray from Camp Bow Wow. Well, good luck with the implementation of all of this, and thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Next up, the big impact the arts have on our region's economy. Stay with us.